Hey Rockstars, Lid Shaw. I'm coming to you from NAMM 2020, as you probably already know by now, watching a bunch of videos. But I'm hanging with Dave Hinsey. Hey Dave, how are you, man?
Good to see you, Lidge.
Yeah, and we're at the API audio booth. So,
Yeah.
I mean, people probably know what about API. I mean, you guys are legendary, and you're like a staple name for the studio. But you guys
That's
have
my
been,
praise.
yeah. Well, you guys have been making incredible gear, but you continue to make incredible gear. Tell us what's new with you guys here.
Well, we're rounding out our 50th anniversary year. We kicked it off last year at NAMM with a champagne toast, and we had our great AES event celebrating the 50th anniversary. And this is sort of the, rounding out the year, showing off the last few 50th anniversary products that we have, as well as all the products that we've been making for a long time that are still the favorite of most studios out there. So,
well, very cool. I mean, of course, the concept of a lunchbox. I don't know. Did you guys invent the lunchbox?
we did. The 500 series format was actually invented by API, and at some point in our history, when other people wanted to start making modules, we had this decision to make as to whether or not we would let other people make stuff for our format, or if we kind of try to create some kind of proprietary thing to hold people back from that. And ultimately, our owner decided, you know what, let's open it up to other people's creativity so they can make 500 series and kind of inadvertently change the industry and with this whole new format. So
it worked for the internet, might as well work for audio gear too, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So
cool, man. Well, so it looks like you got a beautiful rack here loaded up with some stuff. Tell us what we got up here at the top.
Fantastic. So this is our 8-channel lunchbox. We have it loaded with some of our mic pre's here. Our most popular and classic mic pre that we make is the 512C. We've been making it for years. It's still one of our best sellers. We also have our newer version, the most recent iteration of the 512 classic API mic pre is the 512V. A really cool thing about this one is it has a variable output control. So if you're using it on, let's say, a snare that's just, you don't want to pad it because you want all the tone, it allows you to dial that back. So this is becoming one of our more popular ones. It has all the same components and topology of the 512C, but with added flexibility. Also has a combo jack in the front to save space, and this button right here, which is one of my favorites. It's a 3-to-1 output transformer ratio. What that does is it allows you to get a little bit more of that op-amp saturation without sacrificing tone elsewhere.
Nice, op-amp saturation. Also, we love combo jacks because we like plugging all kinds of different things into our stuff in the studio. When you talk about the saturation and this output level, is the API, is the 512 something where, like, there are use cases where you might want to really almost overdrive it and then bring the level back?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have a friend of mine that's a guitar player, plays with a bunch of different bands, and he's experimented with some really cool guitar tones, getting natural overdrive and compression by channel jumping 512s. Hope I'm not giving away any secrets.
Wait, is he channel jumping 512s?
I don't know if he's done it with 5. I know he's at least done it with 2.
Nice.
And it was a trick that he learned on an old API console, and he now uses it in his home studio as well.
And it's generating like a direct guitar distortion kind of thing.
And it's super unique. You should try it out. Rockstars. There you go.
I love that kind of stuff. The most fun thing to do, well, so you get gear, you learn how to use it correctly, that feels great, and then the next level of feeling great is learning how to completely abuse it and break it. Not physically break it, but use it the wrong way and kind of break the sound of it.
Right. Well, the great thing about API is it comes with a 5-year warranty on parts, so you can abuse it. We're okay with that.
So then what else we got here? So this is for DI stuff here?
Yeah, so our 505 DI is fantastic on, if you want to go acoustic guitar direct, it's amazing on bass. This is a really great DI for bass if you just want to go direct into your signal chain. So, and then next we have the 535 line amplifier, which comes from, I believe this one comes from our broadcast background. API used to make broadcast consoles back in the day, and this is actually fantastic on keyboards. Specifically, it's a really, really great line amplifier for keyboards or any line level input.
Nice, very cool. All right, so what else do we want to look at? We got some more stuff down here. What are these guys? I like these meters.
Yeah, so this is the 525, which is a direct reproduction of our classic 1970s compressor. It's a really unique compressor that, it sounds great on acoustic guitars, female vocals specifically. This is one of those that it isn't as versatile as our modern compressor, which is the 527, but it has a very distinct vintage tone. Most people that have these never get rid of them because they're so unique.
What are some of the knobs? What do the things do on here? People are looking at it and going, I don't even know what that does right there.
Well, so you have your ceiling control here. You have your in and out, so you have your threshold and your makeup gain, and then you have this really, really cool gain reduction meter on the front. Real vintage vibe on that.
Okay, so you just sort of bring up the level into it, and then ceiling, of course, is like maybe that's almost like a limiting feature or something. That just like
exactly.
that's
so
you with a
less and more. Yeah, it's very, very simple controls on this.
Awesome, and then this one is a little bit more modern or something?
Yeah, this is probably our most versatile compressor that we make. So this is the 527, which gives you a couple of unique features in that it has both a modern and a vintage or a new or old style compression. So you can do feed forward or feed back compression with the flip of a switch. If I could find it right here, there it is. So new and old. You also have, you can change the knee, you can change, you have a link feature if you're using two of them together. And then you can also change the meter from gain reduction or to a regular VU, which is really
I like those mini switches, little micro switches.
Yeah, little toggles are always fun.
Cool.
And then there's also our patented thrust circuit. The cool thing about the thrust circuit is it's basically a filter before the RMS detector, so it allows you to get a lot more low end without like getting mushy or muddy. So
awesome. And then let's see, what do we got down here? Now we know this is a classic, the 2500. Tell us about that.
So our classic 2500 stereo bus compressor, a lot of people may know it from, a lot of people get the plug-in version first, but the hardware version is just an amazing stereo bus compressor. The cool thing about this, Lidge, is we actually see this not just in studios, but we also see this on live rigs all the time. So there's a lot of major tours that be touring with the Digico rig, and they want an analog compressor to put their two bus on.
Yeah.
So
we were chatting about that for a moment, and what occurred to me is, I've been doing some mixing in a live situation. It's sort of like a live studio situation using a digital console on the PreSonus, and one of the challenges with that is when you think, I want to have some stereo bus compression to kind of, get the sound and soak it up, but it can be challenging sometimes to see the meters, to be able to feel like that it's doing what you hoped it would do. And then, so I like the idea of putting an analog compressor even after a digital console, so that you can mix into that, and it gives you that freedom to leave a little more headroom when you're mixing, so that there's a lot more safety zone in there. Right. You're not going to crunch out any converters or anything, and then just let this do all the work of fattening up the tone at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we see a lot of people using it in that exact application. So.
Yeah. Awesome. And then, of course over here we got some of the classics, the 550A EQ. I love this one. I've used this one for years, and the 560 over here, which is a super fun graphic EQ. Yeah, it's just fun. Like, do stuff like that. Why not? Find out what it sounds like.
Exactly. It's all about those happy accidents in the studio, right? Yeah. The thing that you do, and you're like, this doesn't look right, but man, it sounds amazing. So
actually, I had a buddy, Adam, in St. Louis, who told me years ago he was taking stereo signals, and he would I think he would put it through two graphic EQs, and on this one he'd do that, and he'd do alternating. And I've since learned that kind of, that's pretty extreme, but I'm sure it sounded super cool. But alternating your EQs, on the right side boost, on the left side cut, on the right side cut in the mids, and on the left side boost, is a great stereo widening trick. I think it actually came down from Andrew Sheps at one of these through Graham Cochran, and I watched his video. So anyway,
that's awesome.
A little side note there, but what else do we want to know about over here?
Well, so the other two that I'll show you from this rack here is the 5500, which is basically two 550Bs, so the 4-band EQ, but it's got a really cool feature in that you can actually change the level of, how do I say it? Basically, you can go 1-to-1. You can do a half step EQ booster cut, and you can also do quarter step. So it's really great for surgical EQ.
Oh, cool. So mastering applications might really appreciate this too, or the mix.
Or the mix. Yeah, you can use it on the mix as well.
Cool. Awesome. Well, let the rock stars know where they can go learn more about this. Where can they go get one of these if they're ready?
Sure, so you can absolutely go to apiaudio.com to check out our website. We've got a lot of great information there. We also have our list of domestic and international dealers. We have great relationships with our dealers worldwide, and whoever your preferred vendor is, they'll be happy to take care of you.
And then can we talk price point on anything? Like, let's say you're like, all right, I want to have a starter lunchbox and get like 1 or 2 mic pre's, and then I'll just go from there.
Yeah, so what we normally recommend is if you're looking to get into the 500 series game, start with an 8-space lunchbox. It's affordable. It sits right there, I think around $700, and then 1 mic pre and 1 EQ to get you started. I mean, you're all in, less than $2,500, and you'll get, a really good, first channel strip for your.
Yeah, exactly. And now you got like a really good chain to start recording with. And then what about this lunchbox? Now I know other lunchboxes exist, but I'm thinking maybe you guys have quality control to make sure that the power supply is rock solid and stuff like that. Anything we need to know about the lunchbox and why start with the API one?
Well, so the 8-space lunchbox has a switching power supply. It doesn't degrade the sound at all. We invented the 500 series. We also have something called the VPR Alliance, which allows other manufacturers to submit things that they've created. We test it for fit and power consumption, and we give it a stamp, and we send it back to the manufacturer. So we recommend the API lunchbox because we invented it. So
right, cool.
I'd like to think the originator is is king there. So.
All right, cool, good deal, man. Well, Dave, thanks so much for showing us all this stuff. Let the rock stars. Wait, did you tell them where to go? You said website, right? Okay, great. Well, then I guess that's it. Thanks for watching, Rockstars. We'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.